This is how America was stolen, episode 46. It begins the moment truth stops being ignored and starts being feared. As Native history entered schools, courts, and public consciousness, a reaction followed just as predictably as it was aggressive. When memory threatened comfort, backlash rose to defend it. Not against lies, but against truth itself. Across the country, voices grew louder, insisting that America was being attacked. That teaching honest history was an attempt to shame the nation. That acknowledging stolen land was divisive. That remembering Native suffering was somehow rewriting the past. But nothing was being rewritten. What frightened people was that the story was no longer theirs alone to control. State governments passed laws limiting how history could be taught. Educators were warned to keep things balanced, even when balance meant placing genocide next to progress as if they were equal ideas. Teachers were monitored, books were challenged, words like colonization, ethnic cleansing, and land theft were softened, erased, or banned. Silence was trying to return, this time by force. Public monuments became flashpoints. Statues once ignored were questioned. Streets named after conquerors were challenged. Some monuments were removed quietly. Others were defended fiercely, surrounded by armed guards and political speeches. The argument was never about stone or bronze. It was about whose version of history deserved permanence. And Native voices were told once again to wait. Media amplified the conflict. Native activists were portrayed as angry or ungrateful. Their demands were framed as unrealistic. The idea of land return was mocked. Reparations were dismissed as impossible. The same nation that had taken everything suddenly insisted nothing could be done. Yet the backlash revealed something crucial. If the truth had no power, it would not need suppression. If remembrance were harmless, it would not inspire fear. Behind the resistance was an unspoken understanding. Acknowledging theft threatens legitimacy. It forces a nation to ask whether its wealth, borders, and laws were built on crime, and what justice would actually require. Episode 46 shows how denial evolved. Not outright rejection, but distraction. Not open hatred, but compromise. Not silence, but noise. Overwhelming truth with argument. Meanwhile, Native communities continued their work. They documented burial sites. They preserved language. They educated their youth. They told their stories without permission. Because survival had taught them something America was still learning. Truth does not need approval to exist. Backlash did not stop the movement. It exposed it. It showed how deeply theft was woven into identity, how difficult it was for a nation to confront that it was not only built on ideals, but on displacement, broken promises, and bloodshed. Episode 46 ends with a warning. When a society fights remembrance harder than injustice, it reveals where its loyalty truly lies, and the question grows sharper. If America cannot face how it was stolen, can it ever truly be whole? In episode 47, the focus shifts to land itself, as Native nations begin demanding not just recognition, but return.